Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking through a nice, clean, neat way of combining multiple CSV files into one file and then appending a new column which has the original file name in that column. Okay, so let's have a run through of what the issue actually is and what we're going to do to solve it. So say in a file path you have lots of CSVs. Let's open up one of these CSVs and take a look. Each one has the same column structure, but its own individual data. And what we're trying to do is append all of the CSVs quickly into one file and then add an additional column here, which would have the original name of the file, so you can tell what file each CSV has come from. So this is the PowerShell script we're going to be using today. All you need to do is copy and paste this. I'll leave the code in the description for you. Copy and paste this into any text editor. I use Notepad++, but other options available. Okay, and there's two tweaks you're going to need to do to this code. So first off, let's go and save this script as a PowerShell script, and it will make things a little bit clearer. So go to File, Save As, and we're just going to pop it in our PowerShell example here, and we'll call it Combining CSVs. As the type of file, scroll down here, and we're going to save it as a Windows PowerShell file, a .ps1. Okay, and as you see, when we click Save, that edits the text, edits the code into a PowerShell script. You can see our comments here, and we'll talk through what you need to do to get this to work. Okay, so to make this code work, there are only two edits that you're going to have to do on your side. That's line 3 and line 6, just follow the instructions, and then let's talk through the code very quickly, what it's trying to do, and we'll look at the output. Okay, so this line here is asking you to add the file path for your input code, and we can see the PowerShell script we've just saved there. So the input is the file path where all of your CSVs are. Copy this and go and pop it in here. Okay, next it's asking you for where you want to output the file and what you want to call it as a CSV. So the output file, just for clarity, let's put it in this folder, data example output. And we'll call it new data. Okay, so those are the only tweaks that you need to make to the code. And let's just have a run through the comments and see what this small program's trying to do. Right, first off, we're telling PowerShell where our CSVs are, what CSVs to use. Secondly, we're telling PowerShell where to output the new CSVs, and that's the file path and the CSV name it's going to give to all of those CSVs after it's done its collation. This third line of code on line 8, that goes to collect all of the CSV files. So that's the statement that's submitted and creates that action. Line 11 goes and creates an empty array, and that's going to hold all the data frames, all of the essentially data and metadata behind what we're trying to collate together. Next, the program goes into each individual CSV and adds the data frames to the array that we just created. So we created an empty array. Now we're going into the CSV and adding to that array. And the last couple of lines here combines all data frames into one. And then we're going to export the data frame to a new CSV file with original column headings, but adding a new column with the original file name. Another section you might want to change is here on line 18. This original file name, that's what the new column is going to be called. So depending on what your exactly trying to append or what you need to call it, you might want to change that. But original file name works for this example. It is the original file name we're appending, and that's going to give us the identifier in our collated data to tell what came from what file. Okay, so we're almost there now. Let's save the file again after we've made our changes, and we're going to go and run this script. So go to the PowerShell file that we've saved. You want to right click on that and run with PowerShell. That's going to submit the code, and that's going to go off and run all of that data, run those scripts. Bearing in mind, if you have a lot of data, a lot of CSVs, there's going to be more work to do, and that's going to take a bit of time to crunch through. But because we're only working with a small amount of data for this example, you could see that's already run straight away. So let's go and have a look at the output. As stated in the code, we wanted to drop it into this file path, the data example output. So we'll open data example output. We called the file new data. So this is the new data as it's loaded. And you can see it's collated all of the data from each individual spreadsheet, and it has put in a new column called original file name, and that's got the original file name. So I hope that's been useful. You can see just with a really simple PowerShell script how easy it is to collate all of your Excels into one file if those column headings are the same and the data formats are the same, and then append a new column with that original file name to it. If you have found this tutorial useful, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel to see more. And if you're having a particular issue, it doesn't have to be limited to Excel or PowerShell, then do leave us a comment. We'll do our best to make a tutorial and talk you through easy ways to hack through that data.